Welcome back to the HGC Europe. We are getting ready for game number 2, the Playing Ducks taking on Fnatic. And game number 1 was much closer than I think a lot of us were expecting. Yeah,
I think so. I mean, you theorized as well the exact actions that may have gone down there for Nande during the break, and it was the idea of you're going to try and avoid the Drain Hope, and then you burrow, and then ultimately there will be the Leoric actually sealing you in there within 2, and you're just taking huge damage from there. Very difficult. Yeah, quite an unfortunate moment. And at that point, it's kind of a snap call, but usually you have to use your Brush Stalker to get away. But if you don't do it instantly, you're pretty much dead with that big of a wave. So unfortunate there for our Nande as he gets picked off. But nonetheless, we'll be getting ready for game number 2. And this is where things start to shake up a little bit more for us. Obviously, we saw Chromie in game number 1, Tomb of the Spider Queen being the battleground for both these teams. But suddenly, we started going to spots where Fnatic looks much stronger on Battlegrounds, and suddenly Playing Ducks look much weaker. Yeah, the Battleground choices are very difficult, I think, from Playing Ducks especially. Now, I was looking over the statistics that we have, and technically, we've only seen Fnatic lose twice on one map, which was Dragonshire. Yeah. But I think you were telling me before that Playing Ducks doesn't quite have the greatest record in Dragonshire either. Yeah, they're 2 and 3. They're a little bit middle of the road here. Let's find out which battleground we are going to. But Dragonshire, yes, is one of the battlegrounds that they can do okay on. Yeah. It's been kind of weird, though, because we've had a lot of Nazebro, a lot of Zool on that battleground. It's kind of this weird mix of the... It seems like the meta's evolving on that battleground. Anywho, we just finished up on Tomb of the Spider Queen, Battlefield of Eternity, and Sky Temple will not be floating around. Cursed Hollow. Now, this is a battleground that when you watch Playing Ducks, it feels like they're a little bit stronger on this battleground. They seem to understand the boss calls, their boss rushes. They seem to love their Vala here on this matchup too. The thing is, Cursed Hollow is being picked here by Fnatic. So Fnatic obviously wanting to go to this battleground and say, all right, guys, let's see what you got. Yeah. The thing is that Chromie can still come out on this map. We saw Fnatic pick it up against Dignitas on this map, where we were like, whoa, okay, this is one of the more wild maps that we're going to see Chromie on. But it looked good, if I recall, just briefly. Yeah, you get a lot of poke, you have control of the attributes. It's certainly something that can be picked up. They won that game, and Hammer came out as well, don't forget. Oh, yeah. Hammer showed up a lot last week. We'll see if she'll show up during this matchup. I think also Tyrael Greymane become much stronger here. We've seen it a lot from Fnatic, so I think in the back of the mind, Playing Ducks need to think about that. Tyrael, 1, control over the bosses is wonderful here. 2nd, Greymane has been a wonderful addition when you're playing with Tyrael because you get that imposing will, you get executioner, you get that blow-up potential. Lots of things becoming available. And in fact, with Greymane being changed on the next patch as well, I think we're going to see way more Greymane here in EU. Yeah, you don't have to go for the throat. You can quite happily go for your cursed bullet. Have you played that against Cho'Gall? No. Oh but, my god. I mean, considering it's percentage-based, I'm excited already. Things for you guys to try when you're at home, when you get done watching the HGC. Try out that new Cursed Bullet. And please get your opponents to draft Cho'Gall and then laugh as you chunk them down. Cursed Hollow, here we go. First ban of the day, the Playing Ducks deciding what they want to ban out. I wouldn't mind them not banning out Tassadar. Ban out something else that you don't want to deal with. There we go. There's a Zeratul. That puts the weight on Fnatic here to ban out Tass, as they most likely will do so. Suddenly, the Playing Ducks are open up to Global Zone. I think they go for a first pick Falstad. For Playing Ducks? Yeah. They definitely could do that. I think that wouldn't be out of the realms of possibility. It depends on what they want in terms of, well, okay, ETC is going to come in. I was going to theorize about the idea of a Dahaka, but Falstad likewise, yeah, very strong. Now, Fnatic could quite easily pick up Falstad in this rotation. It's good against Mosh. Why on earth not? And then Malfurion. Where are you, Malf? It's got to be a Malf, right? Yeah, I think, do you go Tyrael Malfurion here just to make sure you haven't picked up so he doesn't get banned out? You could, because then, if you think about what Breeze has been playing, the next step for him would be Varian, which actually I don't mind. I think it would be fine anyway. So it really depends on what Playing Ducks want to play against. If they want boss control, I think you go Tyrael Malfurion. If you don't want boss control and you want to have more hard engage, I think you go for Varian. Wouldn't mind seeing the Falstad pick up then too, so you get your global pressure, you get your hard engage, so you can set yourselves up. Their coordination are off the charts. That's what Fnatic does well. It's what everyone always says when they are facing against Fnatic. Gosh, they've played together for so long. There's a Falstad, there's Malfurion. So now we have our pickups for Fnatic. I think I like, I understand what you're saying with Tyrael, and I too like Tyrael on this map. I think it's amazing. I think Falstad can kind of pseudo-control bosses pretty well. I mean, Gus does give you a little bit of an option against that as well, and it gives you the split soak compared to a Tyrael, which is Sanctification to Holy Ground, yes, very strong. I would say more of a guarantee of a boss control than of Gust. So they're kind of playing the middle ground, you know?
It seems that they want us to play on their... So now the playing Ducks, getting their second and third slot. Do you grab your Vala early here? Vala Tychus has been one of the major pickups playing Ducks go for often. However, they're starting to favor Vala more and more, it appears, after we watch more and more matches from them.
I have to agree. I think that if they don't go Vala here, then you end up in that situation where this next ban for Fnatic is either a Vala or a Li Ming. That coming out makes me think that Vala would come in. Like, Medivh being picked up for Sport Billy, which, again, is kind of control against, you know, bosses, etc., means that Vala should be the ban here, because obviously the shields will enable her quite a bit, and there's no way that they would, you know, go for extra shielding beyond Medivh.
Yeah, Li Ming's much harder to pull off with Medivh compared to Vala being a selection. That does leave Tychus up and available, so Fnatic can decide if they want to just go for a solo warrior and go more control-based on the battleground.
And also, there's no reason really for them to limit the idea of Li Ming, because actually, you know, Medivh is pretty damn good against Li Ming if Fnatic was to go that themselves. So, yeah, I like that pick, especially with Sport Billy. And them needing to make the plays here in this series against one of the big three.
Yeah.
Get your Medivh out there. Get Sport Billy on it. He's done good in the past. Whether or not he can do good enough to beat Fnatic, though, is another question.
So I wonder if Fnatic bans out Rhaegar here, then, just based on what we theorized, or do they get rid of the Vala? I think you get rid of the Rhaegar, so you put your opponents into an odd spot with support. That would put playing Ducks with a Brightwing, which is decent with Medivh. They decided to go with the Fnatic ban on Vala, though. Now, to the left, the playing Ducks.
I think Tyrael. I
think I agree. I think with ETC and Dahaka, you're set up pretty well to deal with the Variant Hard Engage already.
Yeah.
You have your Force of Will. You just get support with Cleanse, and you're Gucci.
Yeah.
You're set up. And then ATC can go for the counter engage, get the power slide, and suddenly Variant's out of position. So I wouldn't mind the Tyrael ban, and there it is, being hovered.
I think you're right on the money with that. Force of Will against Variant, you're like, okay, when we know we're never going to have enough cleanses to deal with that. So Force of Will is probably one of your next best options. Yes, that person's going to get CC'd. Yes, they're going to be there for a while, but at least you deny some of that blow-up for them to potentially get out later down the line. So Tyrael will get banned probably, and then we'll suspect Fnatic will then default to Variant afterwards.
So Tyrael,
just do
slightly being hovered here.
Just do it.
Start thinking about the next steps for Fnatic.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what do you go into? You get your Variant, but you also have to deal with the frontline warriors.
The thing is that Variant Li Ming is like the go-to, but again, you're against Medivh.
Yeah, I think you go Variant Tychus.
Maybe.
Yeah. And then you take away the Tychus, you take the auto attack away from, so suddenly playing Ducks is in a weird spot where they have Chris, who has to play a assassin that we probably haven't seen before. This far in HGC, we'll probably see the Li Ming. That would be the one that we would go to, but Li Ming would be kind of awkward. They go for Li Ming Variant. Medivh still has control here, so now the playing Ducks can take their Tychus on their side and pick up a support. Rhaegar most likely being the option that you follow up into.
Okay, let's think. Damage. I think, as you say, Tychus has to be pretty much a go.
Or Hammer, but Hammer much more difficult with the rotations, but it has been an option for EU lately.
If it was Hammer, it would be with, I think, hyper cooling engines at 7.
The advantage that Hammer does have against Variant is that she can knock back Variant on the engage. So if Variant comes in for the point and clicky, you just drop down your concussive blast and you're fine.
The point and clicky?
The point and clicky.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the hard engage to go for with Li Ming follow-up. You just drop in the W and suddenly that combo is kind of wasted. It is a bit of a hard timing to hit, but it is hittable. But I think Tychus is the go-to. It's just kind of scary because Fnatic doesn't have too many of Warriors, and when Variant goes in for the engage, Tychus' range is so little that it's actually easy for Variant to show up. Oh, wow. Jaina Brightwing. Okay.
I don't mind the Brightwing Medivh. I think that's good. I think that having split soak is very important against what we're seeing from the False Start on the other side, and the Hacker as well, which is going to help a lot. The Jaina...
It's scary, because now you have to hit your lane line seals and get a perfect Ring of Frost in order to get kills against this comp, it feels like. Now, Furion's going to have sustain heal for the poke that will come from Jaina. You're going to put a lot of pressure on Nande to make sure to hit his drags. And control around bosses becomes a little bit less here. You don't have any auto attackers to burn things down, so you have to win team fights and then move towards the control of Battlegrounds. So,
see, what is this for Wobby now? The interesting thing is that Brightwing coming in kind of shuts down the idea of potentially, well, doesn't shut down Zeratul, but a Nubarak will be the choice. for him. That's kind of what we had to say next because Jaina is on the battlefield. I don't mind that. I think it's all right.
I think Ducks got a little outdrafted here.
Yeah.
I feel like Fnatic has better boss control. They have better engage. They have kill potential with their Anubrek and Varian to dive at Jaina. And if Medivh's not on point with a Force of Wills, you're going to see a Jaina get eliminated here, even with the Brightwing Polymorphs. In fact, so much so that I feel like this team should be more of a split-pushing team with ETC going Echo Pedal and Stage Dive, Dahaka pushing another way, the other three to start to group up, and then maybe even getting Emerald Win, just trying to stay away from fights unless you get isolation.
I think you don't need Stage Dive too much.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the mosh pit into like the Blizzard. I'm just saying, I feel like they're not going to lose a team fight unless they hit those amazing mosh pits, which I don't see Fnatic giving away.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to agree with that. It feels like for me, and you mentioned it just before, that so much emphasis is on Sport Billy playing a great Medivh.
Yeah.
Because if he allows those combos to come out on towards someone from the Variant and the Li Ming, that person is dead, like, looking at this composition. So it's very difficult.
Yeah, for me, I'm looking at control here. There has to be really good power slides, has to be really good drags here, and then Jaina's blowing somebody up, and then hopefully a Anubrek doesn't follow up or Malfurion's there for the save. Let's find out, though. Game number 2, Cursed Hollow. Who will control the battleground, and who wins the draft? We'll find out in game number 2. Here we are on Cursed Hollow. Caleris, do the honor, please.
Thank you very much. To the left-hand side, it will be playing Ducks with Wolf Joe on Brightwing, Cresplosion on ETC. Next up, Sport Billy. Gonna have to make the plays on the Medivh. Up next is Chris with Jaina. And finally, to round things out, it's Nande on Dahaka.
To the far right, Fnatic in the red. Smexy will be on the Malfurion. Following up next, Varian will be playing Breeze there. Gonna be seeing that taunt later on. Quacknix will be showing his Falstad, the legendary Falstad. Schwimpy on Li Ming. And last but not least, showing Anubrek will be Wubby.
All right, so I haven't seen Wubby on Anubrek for a while, so this will be fun to watch as Fnatic here already spreading themselves out. I think they realized that with Brightwing and Dahaka, there was the potential that they had to go to every single lane right now just to make sure that there wasn't like a 5-man push towards a tower, without a Sylvanas, but then playing Ducks has a slight advantage in being able to spread out and get the soak after that tower. So Fnatic playing it smart to start.
Smart play from both our teams here in this best of 5 series. Wubby and Schwimpy starting their push in the bottom. Blizzard will be able to help clear the waves in the bottom lane. Varian's in the middle, and he'll just hold out in the middle for a slight amount of time here as ETC and Medivh will be floating around. Dahaka, though, is dealing with Falstad and Malfurion in the top right. Goes for the drag, pulling him underneath the tower. Cresplosion was coming for a rotation.
Yep.
Could get a power slide to go for a kill, but Quacknix too wise for that. We'll go ahead and just barrel roll away.
All right, so the big question for me is how we're going to see playing Ducks try and deal with something like a Li Ming and the Falstad, because those are two behind a Varian that has become very good in the hands of Breeze, let's not forget. That I think, I say every single playing Ducks Medivh match, get those portals through. They looked really good when they were being super aggressive onto one of the back lines. Try that and see where you can go from there. Because against Fnatic, you've got to take these risks, I think.
The aggressive engagements from playing Ducks?
Yeah, get in.
I am compelled to comply with you, just because they're
compelled to
comply.
Yeah.
Because something needs to happen. Playing Ducks needs to get an advantage, and they need to make sure that they are able to set up for these isolation techniques, and getting a portal into an ETC power slide into a Jaina Blizzard can be a kill if it's not on a Anubrek. If it's on a Anubrek, you should be able to sustain through it. So it comes down to Li Ming and Falstad to be the ones that get picked out. But with such such fantastic maneuvers here for Fnatic with their Li Ming and their Falstad. These players are just too darn good at getting caught out like that. Already, you see them constantly playing safe because they don't want to get picked off.
Yeah, and the reinforcement potential is great here. That being said, not for Chris, though. He's going to die in the back line. That's first blood. And now I think that playing Ducks is in a very, very scary spot. They will pick themselves up Malfurion, though. But at the same time, a lot of damage from this left-hand side coming in. They're on opposite ends of the map in terms of positioning right now. The shields are going to have to be very good and on point here because they're not getting out without a fight.
But they're just locked down here. Playing Ducks just need to play safe and slow it down. Crystplosion has to be the one that trailblazes away the escape here for the team. Medivh does jump into Raven form. Portal should be available.
Yeah.
There's a portal. Swimpy on the back line. Breeze will go in for the engage. The Warbringer is available now, but Breeze getting focused down. And the Playing Ducks, with their hard aggression, are able to secure a takedown.
Yeah, what did I say, man? Get in there, get fighting. The one thing that was playing against Playing Ducks there was the fact that they knew, because they were on their opponent's side of the map, Malfurion was coming quickly because it's so early on in the game. So they had a timer above their head. They played it well, a 1-level lead, and that easy camp is still doing damage on the right-hand side.
Yep, still sieging away. Varian should be able to clear that up. Falsehead has gone to the middle lane here to start clearing out the experience to get Fnatic back, but you know what? Playing Ducks is playing with the aggression here. Big Malfurion root comes out. Wubby will be able to burrow charge away. And hey, maybe I'm eating words here. Playing Ducks are here to show that they are down to play against Fnatic, bringing out the aggression, and Fnatic falling victim.
Definitely what we wanted to see from them, because if you're just going to play standard and normal against Fnatic, in this current meta, with the current flow of how these two teams play, you're probably not going to win as Playing Ducks. So, I liked what they brought. They're going to get themselves level 7 a little bit earlier. Okay, Brightwing is going to go down bot, so she's going to get that soak as well, just to make sure that they keep on even keel. And hard camp going to be taken as well for both sides. So that will even out in the middle of the map. And actually, Fnatic taking it a little bit slower means that they can technically clean up in a better position for them. So let's see if they're going to get that done.
Aesthetic in the middle, moving towards level 7 for both of our teams here. Playing Ducks actually at 7.5 already. Q build here for Jaina. Become quite the standard with Ring of Frost. Just sieging away on your opponents if you're able to land in that big wombo combo. Sport Billy on the right side here helping out with the engage. The Master's Touch has been picked up. 7 here now finally for Fnatic. Cleanse obviously been picked up for Malfurion, allowing for them to save that power slide that comes their way. A Nubrek in the bottom lane. Finally a Tribute has now spawned for our teams. Sport Billy will be annoying as usual, scouting out his opponents, which allows Playing Ducks to set up aggressively here. Crystplosion in the bush. Wubby on the left side. Here comes Quacknix.
Yep, and likewise, Daka should join pretty soon, realizing that it's a 5v5, just soaking, and Playing Ducks just poking away at the back. So let's see if he's going to join anytime soon. That's a lockdown on towards ETC to start things off. A lot of damage. They've got to have to be very careful about that, as an Uberak going in very deep.
Wubby going deep indeed here. Going to need a snorkel as far as he's going in. Crystplosion on the left side there, continuing with their poke. Quacknix is helping out. Nande in the front line. Sport Billy on the side. It seems like right now Playing Ducks are kind of condensed to one area with this big conk hit that's been set up for Fnatic. Sport Billy can interrupt Smexy and will do so, but the engage onto the Haka will occur. The essence has been popped though. Crystplosion will move forward with his team here. The big portal just dancing back and forth. Fnatic though responds brilliantly as they spread out and make sure not to get picked off.
Yep, and the one thing that was slightly going in favor of Playing Ducks if they wanted to continue that was the fact that Brightwing isn't really losing any mana when she's actually healing up the entire group, but Smexy was running out of mana, so Fnatic really needed that, and that's going to be an attack on towards Breeze, but he will get away, as that was a good cleanse.
Fnatic now realizing that Playing Ducks are not playing around, going in for hard engages, dropping the portals. Fnatic has started to play much more safer and has begun to be willing to rotate out. They automatically sent Falsehead top. Varian was very far away from that portal range that was available for the Playing Ducks. And now all they have to do is continue to soak. With them having one Tribute, they can set themselves up to lose out on the next Tribute, because they can move towards 10 and just wait it out and set up on the third Tribute fight.
All right, so both camps going to be taken. Going to be just split pushed down the line. Let's see. Nande and Wubby, small skirmishes. An attempt at a gank up towards the top by the looks of things onto Falstad. Setting up. But he won't take it.
Yeah, Quacknix seeing the Giants grab to the left and not seeing anyone middle lane has a clear indicator that someone might be near them setting up for a gank. So he plays very safe, even going for the hammering. 10-9.
Well, that gank position sure worked out for them, didn't it?
Yes, it sure did. This Tribute spawning on the top right. Crystplosion will start doing it. Ooh, big Leyline Seal comes out. Chris goes for the ring. It does not connect, though. Breeze goes for the quick stun there. Li Ming is going to be able to blink away. The Spell Armor helping out, but not enough. Takedown does occur as the Playing Ducks will secure a kill and can also take the Tribute.
That was a weird one. Because Chris, I think, was in range. He just kind of slightly mistimed that Ring of Frost. And Li Ming just staying a little bit too long there. Shrimpy. So... Fine. Playing Ducks in control. 3-1 kills right now with a level up. Not too bad.
Not too bad. The next tribute will be important for the Playing Ducks to get a curse. Remember, we still have all forts up and keeps for our teams. So now's the moment. Playing Ducks with all their aggression here in the early game, it's paid off for them well, as they've gotten an extra tribute, gotten a few takedowns, but now is the moment where they have to finish. They need to get this third tribute, get a curse, and start taking control of the battleground, and keep up this aggression. If they start to falter now, that's where Fnatic will walk away. Fnatic Breeze is going to use the taunt here. Schwimpy getting low on health once again. Smexy will show up for the heal.
And that's kind of what we were talking about in the first game, right? The idea of you drag out the game long enough just for your opponent to make one mistake and then you capitalize on it. Last game, it was Nande falling, even though it was very, very even. Fnatic is going to do very similar things here in this game. They're just going to wait for their opponent to make one mistake and capitalize from that. That's what concerns me from playing Ducks, as much as they are in the lead. And actually, have already shown me a better series against Fnatic than I expected them to, because I expected a bit more of a one-sided series so far. But playing Ducks, from week to week, stepping it up.
That they are. They just need to finish climbing that mountain, right?
Yes.
They're certainly at the base. Got to get to the tippy top there.
You don't want to end up as one of those corpses on Mount Everest that just ends up as a marker for other climbers.
We find them 500 years later, just frozen in the eyes, dissected to us. Well, this is Chris. Well, that's what's really morbid. Chris Explosion here on the bottom left. Wolf Joe in trouble on the left here. Hammering comes out, but Wolf Joe connecting. No, the last second impel. And Medivh is taken out on the right side. Fnatic taking a takedown. Breeze will have the Warbringer. There he goes, charging on in. Cleanse comes out, but Schwimpy and crew will set up a zoning area, and now Fnatic 2-2 in tributes.
Wait for your opponent's mistakes to come to you. And that is now no more stacks of Master Touch. He was about halfway done. He was having a little bit of a hard time actually getting it done, because going up against a Varian as a Medivh trying to get Master Touch stacks is difficult. Not only that, but also some of the stuns coming out from an Uberak. So boss on the way. Ooh, Quack Nix.
And trouble. He does have Mighty Gust, but the Polymorph comes out, the Unstable Anomaly, and Chris bringing out the damage will be a kill. Wubby burrows in, going straight for Chris. Will pop his Locust Swarm, focusing down the Jaina, low on health. Ring of Frost comes out, but Smexy will sidestep it. Breeze does get connected with, but he's pretty tanky. Chris does get taken away. One last member here will be able to Ice Block for now, but Wolf Joe finally being taken out. Nande on the left side, but Fnatic has already won this team fight.
Yeah, it feels like I can't decide if Wolf Joe had saved some extra members there, or if it would have been better served just staying down bottom lane and soaking. It's regardless of that fact, though, good capitalizing, I suppose, from Fnatic, considering where Quack Nix actually was. They abandoned the boss. They could have just kept going on it on tunnel vision, but no, they wanted to take that fight on that 3v4. So good stuff, and that will seize them a curse potentially here.
Yep. Shelling it out. Medivh the only one down here on the bottom left to delay that.
No rival.
But won't even chance it here.
No.
Especially with 3 members being in the area. Big call out to Smexy, though, in that fight. Ring of Frost came out, and he just sidestepped it perfectly, came back to assist his teammate for the retreat, allowing for that turn to work out. Big curse down for the next 60 seconds for our teams. 3 in the middle to start sieging away. In all honesty, the push potential is kind of light here. Fnatic, Fawcett, though, will be on the bottom. He's the main aggressor. Brightwing will try to match that push for now, but already the fort moving down to half HP.
Yeah, so that will be Giant Killer on the side of Falstaff for 13. And on the side of playing Ducks, it's Encore once again against Face Melt at level 13 for Chris Explosion. And Encore has become way more popular in the past couple of weeks compared to Face Melt. It seems that people just want that extra space control of that little amp that gets laid down. He wants to continue the beats. He's not quite Lucio, but he's doing okay. I wonder what the interactions are like between ETC and Lucio, actually.
I hope it's fun, man.
It must be. I haven't heard it yet.
I can't wait to run the movement speed Rockstar with ETC and Lucio and just zip across the map.
And Bloodlust.
And Bloodlust.
For the double support meta.
Level 20 Wandering Keg. Just zip around everywhere, give him a boost. Oh, big engage, though. Mighty Gust comes out. Smexy will be dancing, but the nice duration stop will prevent that from occurring. We'll be on the back left and just taking the damage from Jaina. No fear whatsoever. That spell shield really helping out. Of course, with the Locust Swarm, too, helping out in the heal. And big trades from our teams. Yeah. Ring of Frost, though, still available.
And the more people that are around you as an Uberak, the more sustain you have because of that Locust Swarm, right? So
OP.
He was, yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I want to be 1v5, and then you die, and then you're like, wait a minute. This didn't go as well as I wanted it to.
Not so much. And Fnatic doing a good job, man. They put 3 in the middle here. Sport Billy is constantly following around Schwimpy because he's one of the main damage dealers. But Fnatic has just moved to the top right corner, and they have started the boss here with 2 of their members because they realized, all right, Medivh is constantly following Li Ming. Let's put Li Ming in different parts of the map here and start the boss. They do just that. Sport Billy will come out and scout it, but I like the attempts here.
Yes.
They're forcing the playing Ducks to consider that Fnatic will be bold.
I mean, they made use of it in the last game, right? I wonder if this becomes a more constant thing for Fnatic to just try and sneak bosses with 2 members, because we've seen it 2 games in a row now, and it's not usual. It is not the usual play that you will see from comps that don't have a notorious boss kill, like a Sonya that's well-talented or something like that, you know?
Yeah, and with Malfurion giving that heal over the time, and of course the innervates to help out with those cooldowns, you're great. You're good to go on that. So it could happen a lot, especially with Malfurions being in the mix-up. Mighty Guess comes out as Smexy was in trouble. Quacknix will be there to save his teammate.
Towards the mid, Medivh just scouting out things. Not really doing too much as Quacknix is going to fly on down towards there. Sport Billy and Chris. Actually, that's a good lockdown there from Chrisplosion for a moment, but Ring of Frost hits nothing. Anubrak coming in on towards Wolf Joe as well. Going to blink heal out there.
Chrisplosion?
Oh, goes down.
Sport Billy on the left, continuing the chase, attempting to grab more. Will hit the burrow charge, but he wants Chris, man. Just beelining straight for him. Wolf Joe low on health. Swimpy going for it. Ice block comes out. Swimpy, dude. He's hitting his buttons, that's for sure.
Yeah, he is. He is. So they'll get themselves a boss and then a tribute by the looks of things from that.
Oh, nice tribute spawn.
I've just noticed a great interaction. When you pop Locust Swarm as an Uberak and then you burrow charge forwards, all the little locusts can barely keep up with you. They're like, no, Senpai, come back, no! And then just, I don't know. Yeah, I just liked that for a moment. It was nice.
I just like the voice you put there. No, that's how I imagine all Beatles talk from now on. Squeaky
locusts.
voices.
No, Senpai!
16-16 for our teams. Boss taken and tribute for Fnatic, and they just seem to be in cruise control right now, as the last few fights have been going slightly into their favor. Jaina has yet to hit a solid Ring of Frost, and they're just playing around that constantly here. The Falstad with the slight escape, Malfurion as well. If one were to connect, I can see a world where the playing Ducks get a takedown, but so far, that is not occurring for our teams. Leyline Seal is available. Sport Billy has done it in the past. Chrisplosion is here to help out as well. But already, Wubby in the back left, making sure that that will not be occurring.
They're not willing to give this one up by the looks of things. It's very low. They're going to back off for a moment here as the entire fight is going to come in here from playing Ducks. Jaina is very susceptible to the damage, but that's going to be Breeze dashing onto that boss, taking it as well. Playing Ducks needs to get out of here. They're going to sustain big losses. Oh, Tahaka gets hit by the Twilight Dream. An attempt at a mosh pit, but Chrisplosion gets knocked out of it straight away.
Yep, now there's a boss continuing to push on the bottom. It just got cleaned up, but the keep is low on health, and Fnatic would not mind keeping the playing Ducks pinned down in this area. Chrisplosion goes for the side here. Here is the tribute. Can Breeze stop it? No, he flies across here because of the portal is on Jaina, but Jaina turns around for the damage. Li Ming is low. Breeze low at the same time here. Falstad on the side, working in those hammerings. A Ring of Frost connects with Wubby. Varian is down, so is maybe a Nubrak. Does he have the burrow charge? He does. Slightly escaping here. Big curse for the playing Ducks. Can they capitalize?
Yeah, I think it's going to be difficult. They need to... The thing is that all forts are still up. This boss is being a nuisance. So they have to clean this up. And then, as much as they've got a curse, it's a little bit of a heartbreaker.
Yeah, it does really alleviate some pressure that was coming their way. If that tribute had been grabbed, they would have to deal with the boss and all of Fnatic. But the turnaround in the fight is good for them. But yeah, they're not going to get much out of it. Fort in the bottom right is being cleared up by Falstad already. The middle lane has been dealt with already by Fnatic.
All right, so Li Ming looking to really follow up on the combo coming out from Varian with Fireflies at 16. So not going for the extra damage of the mirror ball that does come out there, just wanting to hit that person straight away really fast and down to the point. I like that coming out from Shrimpy to just try and get the massive, massive blow up.
Just constantly spamming those Qs until you get to a point where you can show up with the Calamity, using that illusions together. Solid build here from Li Ming. Fnatic will now grab control of the battleground here. Oops, Mexi is in the bottom right, just playing Ducks. Looks to play aggressive. Mighty Gus does come out. Can Sports Billy lock down Smexy, though? He's trying to dodge. Blizzard does come out. No drag yet. Smexy's still low. Will finally use Ice Block. Variants come in from the right side, but it's going to be a little too late here. Quacknix and Schwimpy will have the control of the fort. Live, but they're going for the dive. You're just right here playing. Ducks are making this work. Breeze comes in from the side here. Chris has another Kona Cold and a Blizzard available.
They've got to be careful still about Shrimpy, though, who's going to come in and try and get some extra damage. He's going to interrupt that, and that is going to be Reset City. If he's not careful, he's going to go on a rampage
Chris
here
in trouble.
Chris, and that is going to be Nande falling potentially as well as he tries to burrow to save face, save himself, but Shwimpy is on the path, and he takes him down. That's a quadra. That's a full team wipe as Shwimpy massacres Playing Ducks.
Holy bananas, and the B-step to finish up as well. Shwimpy and Wubby will now start pushing the bottom lane. Let's check out that replay quickly here, as that was actually a 5v3. The dive here from the Playing Ducks was fantastic. Shwimpy on the left, the big orb there to chunk down Chris Explosion and Wolf Joe. Wolf Joe blink heals away at the last second, but Breeze on the right side sustaining here, especially with Wubby and that Locust Swarm. Chris gets focused down, and Shwimpy just goes off.
And it's not just the fact that he got resets, it's the fact that he focused targets the exact right order. If you go for any other order there, then Dahaka doesn't die quickly enough or something like that, and then you don't get the resets to kill off the damage dealer. You don't limit the damage coming out of them. They can potentially do damage to your warriors. Brilliant stuff coming out from Fnatic, and especially that Leeming Shwimpy.
And you have to give kudos to Playing Ducks, too. They still went for the dive. They went for the aggressive play. You have to make those to take Fnatic out, but Shwimpy just slightly a little too good, especially in tandem with his teammates there. 20-19, the Fnatic currently in the lead. They have pressure on the bottom as the keep did fall from the minion pressure, and they also have one tribute to them. This game is still not over, though. The Playing Ducks do have a chance. I would give up this tribute and work towards getting to level 20.
And you can just see it. I mean, I mentioned weeks ago how much Shwimpy is practicing and focusing because they are so dedicated to their craft currently and so dedicated to getting the top spots. They want first place at the Western Clash. Absolutely. Whether or not that will happen against something like Misfits, imagine if we see that clash again. That was finesse. Oh,
that was finesse. And if you're going to the Clash, North America, Europe, LATAM, or ANZ, be frightened there of Shwimpy.
Oh,
Chris Explosion.
Wubby and Falstad got themselves a nice little cheeky kill on Brightwing. And that just opens up boss again, potentially.
Yeah?
Yeah, just go for it.
And if you're the Playing Ducks, I think you have to make a play here.
Yeah, you have to try and get the Medivh Leyline Seal. Because if this gets taken, that is a keepless lane. You have to try this.
You have to. Quagnix is dealing with Chris Explosion on the right. He'll power slide away. Only 3 on the right side here. Sports Billy looking for the steal. Leyline Seal and Ring of Frost is available, but Chris is being died by Wubby.
What is going on? Everything. It's chaos. What's going on?
It's pure chaos right now, and that's what you have to introduce if you're the Playing Ducks.
Leyline Seal.
Leyline Seal comes out. Does not
Breeze.
connect. There is the boss being grabbed. Chris Explosion goes for the power slide. He's being focused down. Nande on the left side as well. Shwimpy getting the resets. Force of Will going off. Shwimpy on the back. 3 members dead. Nande on the left side on the boss, but he's not going to take it. And Fnatic takes away the boss of the Playing Ducks.
Shwimpy popped off again. He popped off again, and now he's just going to be able to push down this lane. That's a full team wipe once again. And wow. I commend Playing Ducks for trying. They had to. Absolutely had to try it for that.
Fnatic popping off in these fights. Now going to pop a core here, but right before they pop a Brightwing, all 5 members here, the taunt comes out. Poor Wolf Joe is now taken out, and now the core will be the main focus for Fnatic. They are going to move up in this series 2-0, even with Claire's here for the core rush. With 5 members down, there is no defense available. GG.
No core rush allowed when 5 men are down. No. So good stuff. Really cool to see how Fnatic are able to even just turn around that situation where they lose someone down to the bottom. You've got to remember that fight that Playing Ducks took towards the bottom, that easy camp, actually I think was a good fight.
Brilliant.
It's just that the chase continuing on, they knew that the 2 opposing warriors were so far away from that fight going down. I don't blame them for taking it, but unfortunately, Leeming resets. Very
well played by Fnatic here as we finish the second game in Kurt's Hollow. We'll get ready for game number 3. This is HGC Europe.